Hello Reddit readers, today we have stories about clowns on the timeline. I won't keep you any longer. Like and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy watching. Story 1 from user Polygons Adesorude. Way less dramatic than all the other responses. But it's still funny, so we'll post it for context. This is not the US. And the names have been changed halfway through our last year of school. They brought in this guy to help us prepare for the major end-of-year exam. The guy was more of a motivational speaker than someone actually helping us prepare. So I guess the school kinda up there. But that's beside the point. He did all the usual motivational speaker type things, including drawing on examples from his own life and getting people from the crowd to respond and join in the motivational speaker. Has a son named Fred, and he spoke about him often during the talk. At one point, he asked one of the students in our grade to respond to a question, and the guy asked the student to tell him his name. The student's name was Fred. The speaker laughs a little. What a nice coincidence that's his son's name. A few minutes later, the speaker calls on another student to respond to something and asks for his name. There are some laughs from the crowd as well. All know he has called on another Fred without realizing. Speaker is a little surprised but accepts it. A few minutes after that, he calls on another student and asks for their name. The whole room bursts out laughing because this guy has somehow chosen a third Fred. The speaker doesn't even believe it until the teachers nod. Confirm a few minutes later, the speaker calls on the class clown to answer a question, and he asks for his name. The class clown says, "Fred?" The room is completely silent. Not a single person laughs. We all know this guy is not called Fred. We know he's doing a funny bit. We're usually into funny bits. But everything up until that point has been true and real. It felt wrong to support his lie. In this instance, we all just sat there silently. Not supporting the joke, but waiting to see if we all agreed after maybe 5 long seconds of silence. One of the class clown's friends speaks up. Nah, the joke, despite being small and harmless, was deemed too far by the entire cohort. Story 2 from user Maziri. This happened when I was teaching at a high school years ago. The kid was in my class, and he was the only student ever truly hated. He did nothing but bark, yell, argue, swear, and waste everyone's time. I'm sure he had more problems than just being an asshole, but he had no paperwork, EP, or any reports saying he was challenged. He just seemed to like negative attention anyway. One day, a maintenance man was fixing a 4-foot by 2-foot fluorescent light fixture. Something was wrong with the fixture, so they replaced it. The broken one was leaning against the wall next to my room, and the maintenance man was still installing the replacement. 2 feet away, the bell rang. This kid ran out and yelled, "Light boarding." He grabbed the fixture and ran to the stairwell. He decided to try to snowboard this light fixture down the stairs. It's not like it was a huge flight of stairs or anything, but he jumped on and immediately went ass over tea kettle. I remember hearing the crash, his scream, and then groaning and coughing. I ran over with the other teachers who also heard it, and there he was on the floor groaning. I remember the English teacher saying, "Couldn't have happened to a bigger asshole." Not to the student. To the other teachers. That's when I realized he wasn't moving his limbs. We called 911, and he just laid there groaning. Then he perked up and started screaming. His arms worked, but he couldn't move his legs. Paramedics arrived, and this kid was apologizing for everything he ever did and begging me to make his legs work. I wish I could say he got the use of his legs. Back turned his life around and became a productive member of society. But that didn't happen. He was gone for a year, and when he came back, he was in a wheelchair. He was an even bigger asshole than before. Apparently, no one wants to deal with you when you're a mean and angry asshole all the time. I heard from later students who knew him and his family that he tried to kill someone with his car in a road rage incident and ended up getting shot. As I understand it, someone pissed him off, so he followed them when they parked. He tried to run them over. They dodged it. And he kept turning around in the parking lot to try to hit the person on foot. Someone else shot him while witnessing the attempted murder. That being said, this is the story that made it around school. And I never saw a new article. However, I did see his obituary, and the school mentioned his passing in the daily announcements, but didn't say how Story 3 from user deleted. This one's kind of clever and different. I had a physiology bio teacher who always had a coffee cup on this desk. Hell, most teachers did. Our class clown dropped a ton of liquid laxative into that cup when our teacher wasn't looking one. And by mid-class, that man was sprinting out of the room to presumably shit all over the teacher's lounge bathroom. Like most here, clown's mistake was immediately laughing and blabbing about it. See, we really liked this teacher a lot. He was a smartass witty and had a great manner of making fun of you to encourage you by leaning into the camaraderie and respect he'd built with you. It worked. Pretty much all of us told him exactly what happened. My experience was that he laughed. Goes, that's pretty classic. And that was that. No repercussions, no detention. Nothing for clown. His happened in October. Fast forward to December, it's the week before Christmas, and we're having a holiday party in this class. Clown brought brownies his dad made, and everyone basically brought something tons of food. Teacher asks if he can run down to the cafeteria and grab us some plates, forks. Whatever, he runs out to do that. After giving some sass the moment he leaves, teacher shuts the door and goes, "I need you all to listen to me right now. Do not touch those brownies. Don't if you do. Don't actually eat them. Don't ask you know where this is going. But wait, there's more." Clown comes back, and we all start digging them. Clown is chomping down on his dad's brownies. A few of us took some, because we figured it was revenge and we're playing the part. It was. But hold on. Wait. There's even more about 5 minutes before class is over. Clown starts looking pale and goes to teacher, asks to go to the bathroom. Teacher's like, "Yeah, go for it." "You okay, clown?" Sprints out. Kid ends up not making it to the bathroom and utterly shits himself in the hallway. Classes get out. Everyone sees. Kid is horrifically embarrassed as he's basically just sitting in the hallway, shitting himself senseless. Ends up having to get picked up by his father. Nobody says a word about it to anyone. Clown won't say anything because he's a dumbass. But not so stupid as to realize he'd self-incriminate. He just deals with the slow cook revenge, and internally, this kid is awed and pissed at the same time. So here's the catch. Clown's dad made the brownies. Clown's dad put extreme laxatives into them. Clown's dad and our teacher were class clowns together, back when they were in high school. Clown's dad comes clean to clown, which also makes a reconnection for teacher and clown's dad. And they start tempering him being funny as good, right? But being a class clown is just annoying. His big lesson was finding out the hard way that other people had many, many more years of experience. And he was just a dumbass kid. Story 4 from user. Forgot alt details. Hey everyone, I was the class clown. And here's my story, wall of text for those who want to read it. At my school, the 6th grade class went around on every Friday and sold ice cream treats. Think popsicle, ice cream sandwiches, etc. for one, as a fundraiser for Red Cross. All the ice creams were donated by the local grocery store. As a fun way to announce it, every Thursday, someone from the class got to make an announcement over the PA system that the class was doing it right before day end. Announcements. It wasn't too uncommon for someone to do something a little silly, like a funny voice sing the announcement. One guy strummed a few guitar chords. One played recorder before. It innocent things, the person selected to do the announcement was random each week. But eventually, everyone in the class got a turn since kindergarten. I had been dreaming of doing something unique, and I think it was in 4th grade. It hit me, I'm gonna use an air horn after I saw I could buy one at the dollar store for $8. Finally comes 6th grade, and I had been waiting and waiting for my week to come up, and it finally did. Got my mom to drive me to the dollar store so I could buy a toy with the Christmas money I got. She let me go in on my own to most stores at this point, so she never even noticed what I bought. I put in my backpack that night, and the next day when it came time for announcements, my teacher gave me the hall pass and sent me down on my own, as we were old enough to get to the office without getting lost. Stopped at my locker and grabbed the air horn that was luckily small enough to fit in my pocket. Went to the office and walked up to the secretary, told her why I was there. As she turned to grab the PA phone and dial the page number, I reached in, grabbed the air horn and let it go. Made the announcement quick and handed the phone back to the secretary, who was in shock and left before she could say anything, walked back to my classroom, somehow. No one was in the hallways. Came back to a classroom with all my friends applauding it, and a teacher who really had no clue how to deal with it, but said, "Well, talk after class." We didn't cause. I think he still didn't know how to deal with it. Turns out the PA system amplified the air horn even louder, which made all the kids from kindergarten to grade 2 cry and sent one special ed student into a seizure and another into a panic attack to anyone who attended Westlock Elementary School in 2010. I'm sorry. Story 5 from user Iowannaquarist. I don't think they went too far, but just far enough. The year after I graduated, the class, president, homecoming king, and some of the star football players got caught at a party with alcohol the week before. Homecoming. The homecoming king had to step down from the court, step down from student council, and was suspended for a few days. The football players were not punished because any real punishment would have resulted in them getting suspended from the homecoming game. And because the football coaches were police officers and lost the paperwork for a few days. The next day, a bunch of students wore shirts that said "Free John" in protest and were told they had to turn them inside out the next day. The class clown wore a Free John shirt. He was called down to the principal's office, chewed out, and had to go into the bathroom and turn his shirt inside out. When he came out, his shirt said, "You, I like free speech" on the front and "Free John" on the back. They were told they had to wear their gym clothes for the rest of the day, which oddly enough were not in their gym locker. A shirt that said, "No, really. You will call my lawyer" was there though. He was given a 1-day suspension. Well, technically, it was like a half day. He was told to go home, change, and come back, which he used to call his dad a lawyer. And the local paper, the student body president, got to keep their seat. But it was too late to fix the issue. With the homecoming court, the football players got to play in the game, but they got written up after the game eye roll. But the cop coach got exposed. And it was found that this was not the first time football player related. Police reports got delayed, legend, side. Note one of the football players that was involved had a bunch of sexual assault charges lost by the coach. That particular player ended up doing prison time for rape so well, that coach was a shitbag. Story 6 from user Original Taco Money. I'm not sure if this counts as we never got exact details who was involved in this one, as it was before cell phone cameras really took off, but I'm pretty sure at least a few class clowns either started the ball rolling or were involved in it now. To preface beforehand, I was not involved in the prank in any way, shape, or form. Just saw the aftermath and a lot of first-hand accounts. So in my grad year of grade 12, the story goes that one night, like 56 kids arranged with the head office to let them after class at like 89 p.m. to do some minor harmless grad prank, something harmless, but standing out that everyone would have a laugh at it. Well, after the faculty leaves for a bit, after letting the kids in, after hours, things go to hell. From my understanding, someone of the group told someone else what was happening now. To this day, I am not sure if what happened next was planned by this leaker or by accident. But in short order, like 50-60 people show up and start trashing the school. In so many ways, the original group now powerless to stop what they have unknowingly unleashed among the things that happened. That I can recall emptying out all the trash cans over the school, putting shoe grease or Vaseline on all the doorknobs, creating a giant shaving cream penis on the gym floor, and surrounding by chairs. So you couldn't easily get at it. To clean, they put that seems slick material on all the stairs and railings, which caused one of the secretaries to fall down the stairs and break her hip. But the worst thing, in my opinion, involved the waterfall. So for some reason, best guess, we were in theory a art-heavy school. We have in our main lobby on the 2nd floor a waterfall that started on 3rd floor and ended in a small pool at the 2nd floor lobby, maybe 5 feet wide and 15 feet long. Anywho, they decided to go to all the bathrooms in the school and take out the pink soap dispensers and toss them in the pool, creating a frothing pink soap bubble mess. And to show how big of sociopaths the people who showed up were, they went into the science lab, took out the fish in the aquarium, and dumped them into the soapy mess. They did not survive. The soapy pool was not done hurting people, as later that day, one of the students with mental disabilities slipped into the pool. What with all the increased suds and water because of the soap, and was shouting in terror at the confusing ordeal. And they had to haul them out, anyhow the janitor finds this, and ropes in the principal and vice principal to try and clean this in the 6 hours before classes start. Later that day, they held an assembly where they read the riot act to the whole school. What happened, even though at best it would only have been like 14 of the grad class, the others being innocent. They did almost cancel prom, but that was scaled back, as it was unfair to the others in the grad, instead removing the furniture in the grad lounge in theory for all grads, but mostly used by this one douchebag popular group. Sadly, it was hard to punish all the perpetrators due to the scale of how many people that did it. Some of them apparently not going to our schools, and this still being in the early-ish days of smartphones and social media. Still, all these years later, it sticks with me how messed up the actions of the people in my grad year were. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and write comments. See you later.